Now that we're having all of this pushback against data centers, they're starting to make the pushback illegal. The resistance to this has obviously created some fear among the government and Silicon Valley. And as I've said in other videos, I really think that these data centers are about surveillance. We already have 10 times the amount of data centers that China does. We already have enough data centers to power everything that's currently being done with AI. The cover story is that this is all in a search for AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is like the AI basically thinks like a human. I don't think that that is possible with LLMs. Large language models just can't become artificial general intelligence because it's just like word predicting. It can't become conscious. I don't think that a lot of the CEOs that are saying that shit actually believe it. But yeah, let's take a look at this. As Americans stew over the looming risk of job stealing AI and data centers in their backyards, the feds are raising the alarm about a new category of threat, according to these new documents that Wired obtained. In the wake of the attacks on CEOs, a nationwide protest movement targeting data centers, and increasing concerns about AI job replacement, federal intelligence agencies and domestic law enforcement are circulating reports with a new domestic target in mind: anti-technology extremists. Interesting. Like, yeah, there's definitely a short-term money grab thing with the data centers for sure. They're trying to get that VC money and that government money. More than 1,000 pages of unpublished reports from the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and fusion centers obtained by Wired show a national shift taking place to surveil this new and worryingly broad category of people and activities deemed an emerging threat. This new effort follows President Donald Trump's SPM 7, which instructs the Department of Justice to target anyone holding anti-American, anti-Christian, and anti-capitalist beliefs. Now, this is like more than half the country. And if you put the data centers in, the data centers is like a 9 out of 10 issue. 9 out of 10 people hate these data centers. Earlier this month, Trump's counterterrorism czar, Sebastian Gorka, released a public counterterrorism strategy, claiming that left-wing extremists are one of the top 3 counterterrorism priorities facing the United States. Part of it is true when it comes to their motives, because right-wing extremists cause more violence. They're more of a danger to society. Left-wing extremists are more of a danger to the system. And I think that is the situation here. Taken together, these Trump administration directives have commanded the domestic surveillance apparatus to surveil and criminalize speech and assembly that challenges the ideology of the White House. And yeah, that's definitely true. And I think that when it comes to the tech thing, it's not just the ideology of the White House, it's the ideology of the entire political establishment. Among the documents in the trench obtained by Wired is a New York Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau report that warns of widespread upheaval in response to AI adoption. Of particular note is a novel term for what the Bureau purports to be an emerging extremist threat. The chaotic atmosphere that may result from emergent AI technology in the next 5 years may fuel large-scale protests that devolve into civil unrest and anti-tech violent extremist activity, especially in large urban areas such as New York City. The report reads, the term anti-tech violent extremism does not appear in any publicly available DHS or FBI extremism reports or guides that represent a novel grouping of range of ideologies. With this situation where they're predicting that there's going to be this major backlash against this coming issues with technology, their solution is not like, hey, okay, this thing is going to cause a bunch of these problems. Why don't we figure out how to maybe direct the course of development of this technology away from that? So their solution is to turn the weapons of the state onto the people instead of trying to direct this technology in a way that actually benefits society, which is what they should be doing. And it's interesting that's coming from NYPD, of all places. Is that because Wall Street is in New York, maybe? I mean, that's just an assumption. I don't know. But I do think it's bizarre that a random police department, it is like the largest police department in the country, but it is weird that a random police department is putting forward these kind of guidelines that are very similar with an SPM 7. So meanwhile, there are towns that are fighting back and winning. So would these people be considered anti-tech extremists?
The data centers got to go!
Data centers are not allowed within the city of St. Charles. Today, it is finally ordinance.
On Tuesday, St. Charles, Missouri made history, becoming the first U.S. city to ban data centers indefinitely. After sustained public pushback, the city changed its land use rules so that data centers cannot be built within city limits.
It's amazing. Like, to get this passed, I mean, I just started showing up to meetings, didn't really know how big it was until the whole community got involved. We used our voices and we defeated large corporations, large conglomerates. I mean, our voices do matter.
The fight started last summer, and we were on the ground to cover it. Residents were furious when they found out that the city signed a secretive NDA with data center developers to build a $1 billion data center campus.
They're signing secret NDAs, these council members. I know who it was? Yeah. And now these council members are like crying that people are mad at them.
NDA with data center developers to build a $1 billion data center campus without any community input.
Anybody that's against this, please stand up.
After intense pushback, the company behind Project Cumulus withdrew its application for permitting.
Council members, you are well aware we are not voting tonight on the application. That's because we have withdrawn the application.
St. Charles has shown
Well, those council members aren't getting any threats, I guess.
that we are a formidable community and we have no problem taking on the still unnamed multi-billion-dollar corporation. Yes. Our question, should you try to return?
Exactly. That's why I don't have any sympathy for these council members and stuff, because it's like you just accepted a massive bribe to screw your whole town over that you're supposed to represent, and now you're whining that people are mad at you on the internet and saying mean things. And it's weird because why wasn't this happening before? Like, data centers are not new. And I'm not saying there's something particularly different about these data centers. What I'm suggesting is that they are being built quickly and sloppily, bypassing local environmental protections. And I'm pretty sure that there was an executive order to do that. And that may be directly related to the water sources that are being used for these places, the construction that's happening, that's causing the water to look all brown in a lot of these places, because that's from the construction, not actually what the data center is doing with the water. And there are some situations where towns are fighting back, but then still getting screwed anyway because the state or federal government steps in.
Billion-dollar corporations just to control their own land. A massive $16 billion data center built for OpenAI and Oracle is being forced onto a small farming town in Michigan called Saline Township. By the way, that town only holds 3,000 people. In September, the town board voted 4-1 to reject the data center. Residents packed the meetings, they put no data center signs all over the town, and they did everything a community is supposed to do. 2 days later, the developer of the data center sued the town. The lawsuit claimed that the town was illegally blocking development by refusing to rezone their farmland. But sadly, the town was told they wouldn't be able to afford to fight the lawsuit. Within weeks, the town that had voted no
The town could not afford to fight the lawsuit.
was legally forced to allow the thing they voted against. Construction vehicles then rolled in. Right now, seeing stories like these, it may feel like your vote does not matter if a billion-dollar company decides it wants your land, but here's what should give us hope. At least 19 Michigan towns have already passed laws to block data centers after seeing what happened to Saline.
Yeah, there's this other, like with the Rio Grande, there have been reports that the water is totally gone. Let's look at this video here. So there's a Meta facility near where this video was shot in the Rio Grande. Apparently this was filled with water before.
All right, folks, I'm currently standing in the Rio Grande River right now. This is what it looks like right here. All dirt, all dirt. You're looking at an environmental catastrophe, what this is. The new Meta data center in Los Lunas, New Mexico, takes 75 million gallons per year to cool down the data center. And this is what we're left with. Another data center is being built in El Paso right now, a Facebook Meta data center. How much more water is that going to take? This is going to be, folks, this is apocalyptic. I've never seen a river like this. By this time of the year, you couldn't even swim in this. It would take you under. The undercurrent would take you out. This is unbelievable. No more water. So what does that mean for the farmland, the ranch lands, the cattle, the houses?
This is a picture of before and after.
Came to the river and there's absolutely no water.
So this is apparently what it looked like before.
Came to the river and there's absolutely no water.
And then there was also a flood, Mason County, West Virginia.
Yeah, here.
Data center construction site runoff floods Mason County neighborhood. This was like yesterday. So we're having droughts in some places, floods in other places. So I guess heavy rainfall caused flooding, which worsened with a breach at a data center construction site. Officials and the data center company are working on cleanup efforts and plans to prevent future incidents. Yeah, now they have to worry about mold and everything there. This is a video of it.
And it's never happened like that, and I've been here 30 years.
And yeah, these people will have no recourse for this.